Figures we've been reporting on today. We're taking you live to Perth and listening here to the Shadow Treasurer, Angus Taylor.
Well, you know, we've seen a collapse in living standards and there's no sign of a reversal of that collapse in living standards. Nothing is going to give Australians that $8,000 back, or substantially more for mortgage holders, that they've lost. There's no plan to get back to where we were when we were in government. Absolutely none whatsoever. And this is the problem with Labor. At the end of the day, if you want everyone to be better off, you've got to manage the economy the right way. And this is what Labor's failing to do, and the results are clear.
On your Peter and Paul comment there, the government says that 85% of people in coalition-held electorates would be better off under their revised tax cuts. Does this mean you should support the plan to support your constituents?
You know, every Australian was better off under a Liberal government. Every Australian was better off under a Liberal government. The average Australian has lost $8,000 of purchasing power in their incomes. The purchasing power of their incomes and their pay packets has dropped by $8,000. Rising mortgage payments, rising prices, rising taxes, and $15 a week ain't going to do the job. It's simply not. The trouble with Labor is they don't know how to manage the economy. And every Australian benefits from managing the economy. You don't have to divide Australians when you manage the economy the right way. Everyone gets the opportunity to get ahead. We believe in aspiration. We believe in hard-working Australians getting ahead. That's what Labor's failed to achieve.
Okay, so then you have to take a position on those tax cuts.
Sure.
Eventually, what about those 85% of people?
Well, have you seen the legislation yet? Because I haven't. And I tell you what, the grimy Greens are going to get their hands on it sometime soon. And who knows what they're going to look like at the end of that. So we'll look at this closely. We haven't seen the legislation. What we do believe in, for all Australians, is lower, simpler, fairer taxes. We've been fighting for that for a long time, for 2 elections indeed. Stage 1, 2 and 3 tax cuts, which gave tax cuts right across the broad sweep of tax brackets in Australia. We believe in lower taxes, and we are the party of lower taxes, and we'll continue to fight for that.
Okay. So you mentioned the legislation, but the government has released the Treasury advice along with its proposals. So they're saying the detail is there.
The detail from the Treasury advice? There's no legislation in the Treasury advice. There's no negotiation with the Greens in the Treasury advice. What we see in the Treasury advice is a political document which has been issued, but what we need is the detail, and we'll make our decision in good time. But the one thing you can be absolutely confident of is we believe in lower, fairer, simpler taxes. We've been the one fighting for it. We don't believe that a Prime Minister and Treasurer should be able to make a commitment to Australians over 100 times and break that promise. I mean, this is an egregious breach of trust with the Australian people. If we are now in a world where they can make that promise that many times, how can we listen to a word Labor says? I mean, what is their plan on negative gearing? What is their plan on capital gains tax on their family home? What are their true plans in terms of franking credits? And this doesn't... Labor has clearly decided they'll do whatever they want, no matter what they've said in the past. And every Australian should be concerned about that.
Do you trust, though, the Treasury advice when it talks about inflation?
The Shadow Treasurer, Angus Taylor, there giving us a bit of a taste of the sort of debate we can expect over those Stage 3 tax cuts.